good though.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We'll wait a few minutes and see if anybody else joins us. All right, good morning. We'll go ahead and get started. How is everybody?
Good.
Good. So today we're going to talk about remarkable remarks. And these are some examples. This is all research that I've been doing this week on what people say you should and shouldn't do with regards to the remarks for the MLS. And also when you're writing something on social media about a house. And the two they said are, you'll love making memories in this home and lovely outdoor space. Research shows people think that they can make memories in their own home. So why would they move? So it's kind of a goofy saying in their opinion. Lovely outdoor space. How lovely. Patio, deck, screen porch, does it have a fire pit, an outdoor kitchen? What is the patio or the deck made of? What kind of fencing? Does it have a pool, garden, fountain, koi pond? What makes it lovely? And I go through the MLS and look at this stuff all the time. And this is a very common quote, lovely outdoor space, or overlooking fenced backyard with no description whatsoever. They claim you need to get to the point. Nobody wants to read a novel, and they talk about they are already online looking for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house. So why would you say this is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house and waste your 800 characters in the remarks section by reiterating what they already know? Goes back to welcome to the address. Well, the address is prominent on when they look at the house. again, you're wasting the 800 characters by adding the address. You got to entice them to want to go look at the pictures. You want to entice them to come and physically look at the property, entice them to look at the virtual tour, but you need to use words that are going to intrigue them. And apparently the research shows that condition really does matter. And if you use words such as luxurious, captivating, impeccable, landscaped, those are really strong trigger words. Upgrades are also trigger words, including the use of the word granite or quartz or whatever, stainless appliances, using brand names, which I've heard for years. If you have a Bosch dishwasher, you should say so. People equate the fact that you have a brand name appliance with somebody who has taken really good care of their property, somebody that's invested in their house, rather than just, you know, a mishmash of a Whirlpool dishwasher, a GE range, etc. So if you have a set or you have some upgraded brand, they say that it's really important to use that in your remarks. Words that are used in houses that actually sell for less than ask price. If you claim that it is move-in ready, it's kind of like, something must be wrong with it. Move-in ready. Clean, motivated, great value. It sounds like you're hiding something because you aren't talking about the pluses, the positives, and something that makes it out of the ordinary. They claim that using all caps is bad. It looks unprofessional, just like switching it up to accent certain words. And this seems to be a really popular trend right now. They capitalize words that don't need to be capitalized in the middle of a sentence. They capitalize the entire word like it's going to leap out of off the page at you, that it's that important. It should look very professional. It should not include abbreviations, and the sentences should be complete sentences, not just run-in sentences. You need to use descriptions that will evoke emotions. You need to entice someone to imagine what a room or a space would feel like, because they're going to live in this house. And when you live in a house, there are feelings and emotions involved with it. So you're trying to describe a room that would make them feel comfortable in it, that it's a place they would want to actually call home and live. And then you have to encourage them to want to view it in person, which, interestingly enough, they claim that 25 photos is about all you should do on a normal sized house. And interestingly enough, while I was going through the MLS yesterday, I was pulling up houses that were listed for $250,000 that had 93 photos. And they would have like 15 photos of the exterior, like they walked around every 6 inches and took a picture. And it's just such a waste. The best descriptions are written with the homeowner's help. I thought this was really interesting as well, because we have the form in the listing packet that if you read through it, one of the questions on the getting to know you is, what prompted you to buy this house? Because if what prompted you to buy the house is such a big deal, it could very likely be that somebody that's going to buy this house after you is going to buy it for the exact same reason. And then asking them if they would change anything in the house, I think is important too, because if they have found some sort of deficiency in the house, the room is too small, it doesn't get enough light, whatever the case may be, you need to be aware of that as well, so you aren't bringing that to a focal point when in fact it is something that is a detriment to the property, if that makes sense. So I always quiz them and ask them what they like about this house, what they would change if they were going to stay. Typically they will talk about improvements that they would make if they were going to stay. Sometimes they even think about doing these things to help sell it. And that's a really interesting conversation, because I've had people say, well, I'd like to switch out the carpeting, but if they switch it out to white, what's the likelihood in a 4-bedroom house that it's going to not be a family with a bunch of kids in it, and they sure as heck don't want white carpeting? So having this conversation when you're listing a property is really important. If it actually needs carpeting, you might try offering an allowance first, or allow the buyers to choose the carpet, maybe get a sample and put it in the house so that they can choose which color from the samples provided. And that way the buyer has some ownership in choosing how they want the house to be finished prior to closing. Once you have written the remarks, typically what I do when I have the house or have the listing loaded, I immediately send it to the buyer. And in the body of the email, I will say, as I mentioned, this is a team effort, and I need you to review what I've written and make sure that it is accurate, because I have mistakenly in the past put that it had stainless appliances when in fact they were black. That was just a typo. I just wasn't even thinking. But you want to make sure that you are writing things that the seller feels is a very good representation of their home, because after all, they live in it. So they're going to know what triggers need to be in that remarks. So I really encourage you to have them read what you wrote and to mention that it's a team effort, that we're all trying to get the house sold. So how does your listing compare to the competition? This also is something that you need to take into consideration when you're writing the remarks. How does it stand out against the others? There was a house that was listed recently in Brookfield, and when I was reading the remarks, it said they copied the model home when they built it, but they bumped out the family room an additional 2 feet. In a subdivision where you're picking 1 of 5 plans, that could be a really big deal, because if a buyer has typically walked through one of the models at Brookfield that Pulte built, they would know that floor plan. So they might say, wow, they bumped it out 2 feet. That makes that great room even larger. Or they upgraded the counters from the builder grade. And in the remarks, it also mentioned that they had that epoxy on the garage floor. So somebody that's a car guy, somebody that's interested in that garage might be really intrigued by the fact that they spent the money and upgraded with that epoxy on the floor. The upgrades that you should make sure you're including in your remarks should also be new windows for multiple reasons. One, it's expensive to replace. It's time consuming. It's hard to endure that because it creates such a mess. And then it also adds an efficiency factor to it, because if you've added a new window, more often than not, they're going to be insulated glass. So it could help save on your electric bills. And if there are brand names involved with those windows, again, it goes back to that trigger. Using something like Anderson, Pella, or Marvin implies that these people really care about this house. They spent substantially more money replacing these windows indoors than if they'd just gone to Window World or somebody from Lowe's showed up. Again, we mentioned the brands of appliances, what kind of counters, whether or not they have general closed cabinet doors and drawers, if they have tile flooring, hardwood flooring. All of this stuff implies that these people have spent more money on the house, and it's creating a different mental picture for the buyer that this is not just your run-of-the-mill house. If they've replaced the light fixtures, under cabinet lighting I think is important to mention. But it is interesting to me how many times I read through the MLS and it says updated kitchen, but it doesn't say how updated. And then you look at the photos and all they did was drop granite on top of the original cabinets from 1940. That's not exactly an updated kitchen. New baths, I see this a lot too. Is it a vinyl floor? Is it a tile floor? Is it an insert tub, or is it a tiled tub surround? Is it a double vanity sink or a single? Is it a split vanity? I think these things are important to mention. Again, it gives the buyer a little sense of curiosity. This sounds really intriguing. I want to go further. I want to look at the pictures. And they're going to go look for the kitchen and the bathroom photos, because kitchens and baths sell houses. So it's important that we stop and really concentrate on the things that are triggers for people buying or wanting to move. If it's new flooring, mention that, especially if it's hardwood. If it's a laminated floor, the research shows that people are not as intrigued with laminate flooring as they were when it first came out, because if you mop it, the ends become wet and start to curl. They slide sometimes. A lot of times Harry homeowner's laying his own laminate floor, so it's not exactly a professional job. So I'd be very careful mentioning the laminate flooring as easy, clean, whatever. I probably would leave that part out of my remarks. And then, as anyone would appreciate, if it has a new furnace, new air conditioning unit, or a new roof, that would be something you would want to include. If it has a new deck, patio, or landscaping, outdoor living has become increasingly more important to people. And I think describing the backyard, whether it's peaceful, whether it's private, whether it has a view, I think all of these things are far more important today than they were 30 years ago. It's fascinating to me when I show some houses in St. Matthews or in the Highlands that have zero living space, no patio, no deck. I think it's kind of fascinating because so many people do so much outdoors now with all of the fancy walls and fire pits and outdoor kitchens and pergolas, two-tiered decks, etc. So mentioning anything that is outside, I think, is hugely important as well. One thing that is not on this upgrade list that was actually mentioned in the Wall Street Journal this morning was because of this pandemic that we're going through and all the people that are working out of their homes, they're realizing that this open floor plan is not very conducive if you're living in the same square footage footprint for weeks on end with your spouse or children. And so I think if you've got a private space that you can go and get away from other people, that right now is a huge trigger, as well as an office. Some room that you can use as an office space where you can shut the door, have some privacy. A lot of these people are doing like what we're doing, Zoom meetings, and they need a quiet spot where they can be uninterrupted and sitting in your dining room table with everything going on around you, dogs, cats, kids, whatever, even your spouse. I think there is a tendency, and according to the Wall Street Journal, people are going to be looking for that in the future. So that's something you're going to want to take into consideration. Cindy, you need to unmute yourself and ask a question because I don't do chat.
I was just going to comment that's one of the main reasons I don't like open floor plans and did not pick that in my own house.
There you go. It's interesting because the house I built in Longwood, we had, it was back when the hearth room was a big deal and everybody had a sitting area off the kitchen. So I made this big kitchen and added a huge great room off of it. So it was one huge room. Hated it from the very get-go because you were looking at the dirty dishes. It was noisy. Everyone was congregating in there. It was distracting. I'll never do that again. I like having a separate kitchen. It can be somewhat open, but having a separate kitchen where you can walk into another room and not stare at your dirty dishes is a big deal. So I'm with you. Understand that you need to place the ages of this if you are not calling it new, and new would be 2020. A new furnace in 2019 is not a new furnace. It went through a winter already, therefore it's used, it's not new. So you need to be very careful and know the difference between new and recent. I think recent is fine. Recent within the last 5 years if you're not sure of the age. But don't call something new if it's not new. Be very careful about that. It can be very misleading. I thought this was very interesting too, and I see this a lot. In fact, there might be one in the PowerPoint. I'm not sure if I used it at the house or not, but it talked about the location, the proximity to shopping, restaurants, expressways, which of course all is very important these days, but they actually put in the remarks that it was close to the zoo, which I thought was kind of funny. 10 minutes to the zoo. Well, the house was in St. Matthews. It's not that close to the zoo, but apparently they must be zoo members. But it's not just the house. What features make it a great neighborhood or an area to live? The attractions that are nearby. And I think now with this pandemic, we're finding more and more people are going outside to parks because they can't go to the mall. There's a whole lot of people on the golf course. All the public golf courses are crowded. So talking about things that are nearby, I think in the next year is going to be really important as everyone has this pandemic in the backs of their minds. So you might want to keep that in mind when you're describing your property. So you need to remember that you are writing as though you are describing your house to the potential future buyer, which means you need to sit back and identify in your mind who your target market is. If you have a 4-bedroom house with a finished basement, it is not likely that a single person is going to buy that property. It may happen. I mean, you're not going to differentiate that in your remarks, but more often than not, if you have 4 bedrooms with a finished basement, you're looking with somebody that's either got a family or planning a family, or maybe it is a dual family, so 2 families moving in, something like that. But that's going to be your target, and that's how you need to describe the property, keeping in mind who might be your potential buyer. Same with a condo. It could be a single person. It could be a couple that doesn't plan on kids. If it's a small condo, it could be a move down buyer. If it's a condo on the first floor with no steps, That is a big deal. That's going to be a huge deal for people that want to get out of their houses and get away from the stairwells. So that's something you want to consider. And then when you're doing your descriptions, you need to give them a reason to take action. And I see this all the time, it's not going to last. Well, that's all well and good, but if it says it won't last and it's been on the market for 90 days and it still says that in the remarks section, you need to go in and change it. And there isn't any reason why you shouldn't go in and change your remarks anyway. If the house hasn't sold in 30 days, change up your remarks. It's old, it's stale. Pick some other things to talk about or just rearrange the verbiage. But you need to make the house stand out. You don't want it to be ordinary. It cannot be a run-of-the-mill house. And sometimes this is very difficult. And I know a lot of us have a hard time coming up with something to describe a house that is very run-of-the-mill, but there's got to be some feature in there that makes it stand out, whether it's the yard, a double-wide driveway, something. Never should be in your remarks. And I pulled up one yesterday that said something to the effect of, it's never bad being close to a golf course or a park. I thought that was a really strange sentence. It was all a negative twist instead of being positive. And that's really important, that you are being very positive. So don't say it's not so bad or never. You got to play it up. The word great is boring, according to my research. Unique is not unique anymore. It's highly overused. Exciting is as generic as great. And I didn't make this stuff up. I truly, yes?
Saying that something is like never and bad in the same sentence, to me, is almost like the term dead end street. I hate that.
Oh, that's a good point. Dead end street. Right.
Least favorite thing to see in a description of a house.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with you. And then I pulled up the fair housing words, and of course you can go to Google and pull these up, and there's various different publications on fair housing words that you can and cannot use, and some are going to be classified as acceptable, not allowed, or could go either way. And if you're in the middle box where it says you can go either way, what does it say? Caution. It says unacceptable, caution, acceptable. The one in the middle that says caution, in my book, if it's on the fence, it's unacceptable. So the ones that I think are more often used than not in the MLS, church, I don't care if it's near a church, don't mention it. And you certainly can't say that it's next to St. Albert the Great. You can't pick a denomination as though you're trying to sell the house only to Catholics that would attend St. Albert the Great. That's how it's going to be construed. So be very careful about what you're choosing to be near. Churches are out. Don't even go there. Exclusive is a bad word. You're not supposed to use that. Executive, that's a bad word, because now other people aren't worthy because they're blue-collar workers and not executives. So you have to be very careful about how you are wording your remarks. Married is actually an unacceptable one. I thought that was fascinating. A couple, a family, children, walk, bachelor pad. Close to, I thought that was interesting as well. Close to, but I guess that is relative. Close to, if I'm in a wheelchair, is not close at all. Close to on a bike or close to walking. So be very careful about that. Ideal for is not good. Safe, secure neighborhood, we think we all know that. You can't go down that road. That doesn't exist anymore. Mother-in-law is out. Newlyweds is out. Quality neighborhood, who are you to say? And I find that in a lot of remarks. It's a destination neighborhood, one of the Louisville's most exclusive neighborhoods, that sort of thing. Stay away from that. Bad deal. Not for you to determine. Handyman's dream is not a good one. I guess because it could be a handy woman. I'm not sure why, but that was in there. Empty nesters, can't go there either. Now you're identifying and profiling who is allowed to buy the house. That's how it's going to be construed. So you have to be very careful about how you word it. The list does vary. If you pull it up on several different websites, some of the words are going to fall in different categories, but for the most part, the ones I just the ones I just put up here are the ones you should stay away from. Again, it goes back to you're mentally going to identify who you think the buyer might be, but your job is to define the house, the neighborhood, and the area as far as livability, conveniences, upgrades. Why would someone want to move there? But you can't pick and choose who. All right, so this was in the most recent Realtor magazine. Thought this was very interesting. Pulte has actually changed what they call their rooms already, and they're calling a gathering room what used to be the living room. And I think that's brilliant because living rooms are seldom used any longer. People have always said, what would I do with a living room? Well, if you call it a gathering room, now it sounds more like it's where you're going to go and have Christmas or have your guests, something like that. It's a different connotation. It takes on a different meaning to me, a more social use of the space. And then master bedroom, that's always been a topic of conversation to the point where they were actually trying to get rid of master bedroom in the MLS. Kind of goofy. It's been the master bedroom since 1913. Owner suite, I can see why you might want to change it to that. I have no problem with it, but it's still going to be called a master bedroom and a living room in the MLS, at least for now. But the master bedroom does sound archaic and politically insensitive. If room labels are still hot in your market, understand that some of these things are waning. Home theaters and media rooms, which were a big deal back in the 80s, some of that equipment that's in those rooms, I have never seen in all the houses I've sold with a media room where they actually took the equipment with them, because it's no different than a TV. The TVs get new and better every 6 months. So same with the technology in your theater room. They get antiquated fast. And I think more often than not, people are not going to go down to the basement and sit in a big lounge chair and use that media room. They're more than likely going to sit upstairs with the sound bar or the built-in sound system in their houses and just watch TV in the room next to the kitchen. But anyway, it's out. They're going away. The yoga room is out. Apparently more people are interested in going to a gym rather than a yoga room, which I thought was interesting, a meditation studio. Mud rooms are becoming multi-purpose now and called arrival zones. I think that one's hilarious. I like that. But a mud room, it's an interesting word. It would be perfect for me because I love to play in the mud and you know, work in my yard. But it's really an arrival zone where you have that hook on the wall for the kids to hang their backpacks or coats, and the little cubbies and nooks, the little seating area where you can take your shoes on and off. It is an arrival zone. It's a much better term. So I really like that. So I think that's kind of fun. The reason why I put this in here, if you're using these newer words, you're going to stand out against your competition, because I don't think I've ever seen anyone use an arrival zone in our MLS remarks. But they do have more use than just taking off your muddy boots. So I thought that was really fun. And then home offices, they require flexibility. That could be where you have your treadmill and also your desk. So if you have an extra room in the house, instead of just calling it an other, you might go ahead and label it as an office, because I think now, especially, and probably in the next year or so, having that room labeled as an office rather than other might be a pretty good teaser.
I also think using the word flexible in your remarks is really beneficial. I think flexibility is really the point of this whole thing.
That's a great point. I think a lot of people have used dining rooms in the past as offices, but more often than not, they don't have doors that close. And I go back to, now that these people have been working out of their house, they're probably going to want a space that has a door and some privacy. So I think that the word flexibility, I agree with Jesse, is very important. They don't want to work from the kitchen table any longer.
Even when you're showing houses, like I watch a lot of HGTV, I do. And the guy always walks through the house and he tells them, well, this would be your blah, blah, blah space, and this would be your blah, blah, blah space. So some little girl walks through that house and she looks at this room and is like, this can be my taxidermy craft room. And the guy's like, this is going to be your workout space. The girl's going to be like, you know, he's right. Maybe this wouldn't work as the space I want it to be. And then
Right.
boom, you're like unselling.
Yep. Good point. Good point. In-law suites, they're not just for in-laws anymore. With this coronavirus, I think it's really important to understand fewer people are going to go to hotels, and that in-law suite might be really desirable for family members coming in to visit, having your son come back from college and living with you for a year because he's going to have a hard time finding a job now, whatever the case may be. But I think if you have that kind of a setup in the house, calling it an in-law suite is probably the wrong way to address it. So it could be, extended family area, although I'm not sure I would put family in my remarks. But again, it goes back to what Jesse said. It's flexible space. If you have 2 owner suites, that implies I've got room where somebody can actually live in it and not have to share a bathroom with someone else, which might be grandma, a long lost relative that shows back up, whatever the case may be. But getting away from mother-in-law suite or even in-law suite, I think is really smart. So let's pick on a few houses. This is where the fun starts. And I have a few of these embedded in the slideshow. And then if you're interested and willing, I'd like to go on to the MLS. I have chosen a handful of houses to pull up just so that we can go through the photos and critique them and figure out how we would market them. So this one, it's an adorable cape, conveniently located in whatever neighborhood that is, 10 minutes to downtown Louisville, the mall, and the zoo. Oh, I did pull it in here. This home features 3 bedrooms and 2 baths. Well, I already knew that because I pulled it up. And an additional room in the basement. It's non-egress, and it has a brand new, huge walk-in closet and new bath with walk-in shower. The old charm of this house is evident. Built-in china cabinet in the dining room. Kitchen has many upgrades, including cabinet organizers and a double oven to make meal prep easier. Outdoor patio is a great place to gather and enjoy the large fenced-in yard. The house is ready for you to make it your new home. So look at that bathroom. That is your basement bathroom. Has a walk-in shower, but what else would you mention? That's a pretty fancy vanity. Double vanity.
That's what I'd mention. Yeah.
So they talk about the kitchen, and it has a double oven. What else would you say about that kitchen? How about the hardwood floors?
That's what I was thinking. Beautiful.
It has hardwood floors everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And it has a double wide opening to the dining room, so it's a little more open. I thought that the bottom left photo was unfortunate because it shows all of the stuff hanging by the back door, which implies that you don't have a place to store any of that. I'm not sure I would have put that photo in the MLS. But I love the upper right-hand corner of the living room. Look at that the wall of windows. It's got 3 windows, so it's got a lot of light in that room.
I'd move that couch.
Anybody have anything else they'd add to that?
Is it a galley style kitchen?
It is a galley style kitchen. I think that would be important to mention. It has a good deal of cabinet space considering that this house is in St. Matthews.
Do you think that the word galley has like a negative connotation, kind of? I mean, in my mind, I associate galley with small. I'd almost.
That's right. That's right. Me too. But it is what it is. They
Yeah.
made it look wide, though.
I suppose that if it had been an eat-in kitchen, you would write the eat-in kitchen has many upgrades, including newer cabinetry, because it is newer cabinetry. That's not original. And I see so many of them that drop countertops on the original counters or cabinets. Cabinet organizers, I don't have any problem with that. But I certainly would have mentioned the fact that it has hardwood floors and stainless appliances, although the refrigerator may be white. But
I think we would have omitted the broom picture.
Yeah, I would too. I agree.
What about that shower in the basement? I mean, I've read some things about European showers, and I know you're a stickler on, is it a jetted tub or a jacuzzi tub? I mean, what is the appropriate way? I've seen a few of these houses where they don't have doors or curtains, which is not neat really, but is that a European shower? I mean, it's open. I mean, it's designed that way, correct or not?
I don't know that I would call it European.
No, I'm asking you. No, right. I wouldn't either. I'm just saying, what do you call that? Because I've seen several of those in the last 2 weeks.
You know, and I don't know that it matters that it has a door or not.
Just
Would
call,
I-
I would call it stylish.
And I would say that it's a fully tiled, oversized shower stall because it's big. It's not those little stupid corner fiberglass things that you can buy at Lowe's and stick in a corner. That was an expensive shower to build.
Right. And I don't have a problem with it. I mean, but to some people, I guess they look at it and maybe feel it's unfinished. But I mean, I just wanted your personal opinion on that. I think it's neat.
What if you said something like, you know, the open shower with room to wash your hair, something like that?
Something to distinguish the fact that it is oversized or extra large. Yeah, I agree with you. I think that bathroom, that was an expensive bathroom to put in that basement. And I think I would have made more of a mention of what exactly you were getting, because a lot of times people will pass over this because they're thinking basement bathroom, it's going to have a vinyl floor, one of those stupid fiberglass corner showers in it, and a cheap little vanity with a single sink. And that's not the case here.
Yeah, but that clearly is, I guess I'm fishing for, what do you call that? It is the design of the shower. It's intended to be that way, but what do you call that? That was
Fabulous.
fabulous.
And
To me, it's just, I think it's appropriate, but some people think it's unfinished. I know you can spend quite a bit on those glass heavy doors, but this is clearly the design of that shower.
I think you're making too big of a deal out of the fact it doesn't have a door.
No, I'm just looking at your photograph here. I think it's fine.
Yeah, I go back to, I think that you could say something to the effect of it rivals bathrooms and far more expensive homes with a fully tiled, oversized shower stall, double vanity.
Cleaner, it's easier maintenance. It's easier to clean a shower without a glass door.
That's
Right.
true.
No, I'm just asking how you'd remark it. That's all. I mean,
Yeah.
no, I get it. I totally get it.
Right.
Okay.
How about this one? This was on the hot sheet yesterday. This home has everything you need. Tall ceilings, stainless steel appliances, granite, sub-zero refrigerator, 2 fireplaces, finished basement, all in the heart of St. Matthews. That's it for $529,000 and a fuzzy photo.
And it's not blurry in real life.
The house?
Yeah,
Correct.
that's what I would write.
So here are the photos of the inside of it.
Well, those aren't that bad. I mean, the bathroom one's bad, but how'd they manage to get such a terrible picture of the outside?
These are the best of the interior photos that I could pull. And you'll notice that there are 47 of them. And the master bedroom with that beautiful tray ceiling with the inset lighting and all the recesses, and the really nice shutters, which are expensive, is photo 28. The kitchen photo is photo 23. And that's a very nice kitchen. You've got a center island with a breakfast bar, white cabinetry. It's open to the vaulted family room behind with a fireplace. Over on the upper right-hand corner, talking about you have granite and a tiled corner garden tub. I mean, look at the moldings on this house. And then the basement has surround sound in the ceiling. So it's like an entertainment room with all of the built-in cabinetry. None of this was mentioned in the remarks.
Does garden tub just mean a tub with a window above it?
Garden tub is typically a small one where you can't stretch out, and they're either really short or in a corner. Not the window above it. A 6-foot tub could have a window above it. It's not a garden tub. But if you get in it and you have to bend your knees, to me, that's a garden tub. So I think that the remarks could have been far better on this particular listing. It's kind of sad. What would the seller think?
To me, the listing seems rushed.
Yeah. Can you imagine sending that over and say, here, critique this? Yeah. Sad. All right. So grab a pen and paper and let's play on the MLS. And we're going to talk about remarkable remarks. Everybody in?
Yep.
Sure. Oh, where'd that go?
Can you see my screen?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, this house is in Seneca Park, 4-bedroom, 3-bath, no leaky basement to worry about. There's a positive. Brick Ranch offers ample space, high-end luxury, golf courses and parks capitalized within walking distance. Whoops, is never a bad thing. Okay. Interior has capitalized hardwood floors, columns, stone tile, crown molding, and granite. All completely updated and move-in ready. Cherokee Gardens features a long list of positives to offer the active homeowner. Nearby parks and hiking, biking trails, tennis courts, dog. We're not talking about the house at all. All of this stuff down here, all of these things that he's talking about here, you're not going to see on Trulia or Zillow or Realtor.com or Homes.com because this is an MLS. So he's advertising this house strictly for realtors. Where do buyers look for houses? Online.
Zillow.
So this house has really nice hardwood flooring.
Mhm.
It has an
Pretty.
open floor plan.
Wow,
Yeah.
nice. Hmm.
Columns, pretty front door, if you like that sort of thing. Leaded glass, separate entry. Look at that kitchen. Center island, lots of cabinetry, granite counters, nice gas stove with a built-in vent.
Smooth ceilings.
Yep. Nice open plan though. The travertine tile floor.
Beautiful.
I mean, but the remarks don't talk about this at all. So what would you say? Anything you take out or rewrite on this?
Well, they don't need to be putting in there 4 bedrooms, 3 baths. We already know that story.
And I don't think that you need to put in there that there's no leaky basement to worry about because it doesn't have a basement.
I was just
Right.
thinking that myself.
Is it really necessary to put in high-end luxury? I don't think so.
No.
I think having access definitely to the golf courses and parks is great, but I think that may be something you want to put down the road.
Well, they mentioned it
Um,
twice.
I know.
You've got parks in the first line, and then it's also in the very bottom.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's a very exquisite house and very, very flowing and lots of updates and maybe just listing some of that also. I don't see any of that in there.
Well, the interesting thing is he's mentioned it all down here. So this
Oh,
hardwood floors, travertine tile,
yes.
open floor plan,
Mhm,
custom cabinets.
mhm.
Yep. Crown molding, recessed lights, columns, all of the stuff that is going to be a trigger for me to go and want to see that is not in the body of the remarks section. All it talks about is its proximity to the park.
Do our clients see that part when they get sent the listing from us?
Yes.
Huh.
Yes.
I don't see that part filled out hardly ever.
No. And yeah.
He's from another state, I bet.
Do you like that?
This is the Breland Group. And the reason, I don't mind every now and then putting something in there, but you have to understand I'm trying to market this house to a buyer. This way you are marketing the house to a realtor. Because I go back to Zillow isn't taking the remarks fields next to all of these rooms and putting them on their websites. Realtor.com isn't, Homes.com, Trulia, none of them are. They're going to pick up the fields of how many rooms and how many bedrooms and baths. But the whole point of this is to talk about the value of the remarks section. It goes back to you're trying to sell this house and entice someone to want to come and see it. But if I am not interested in dog parks or playing tennis or golf, this isn't the house for me. If I'm a gourmet cook, I might really want to see this house. If I like to entertain, I might really like to see this house. It's got an open floor plan with multiple living areas and a really fabulous kitchen with a center island and a really nice stove. But none of that's mentioned in here. He's talking only about people who want to be active and live near the park to use those amenities. Not everyone that lives in Seneca Park is going to use the dog park. That's my point.
But at the same time, you did just say with the pandemic going on, we might want to, you know, enunciate on, and is that the right word? On the fact that, emphasize the fact that there's stuff nearby.
I agree, but not the entire remarks. The saying that it is close to Seneca and Cherokee Park, I think would have been plenty. It says Cherokee and Seneca Park's nearby is the very first line. He didn't need to mention any of it again.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I think nearby is a pretty general thing too. I think getting something a little bit closer, you know, within a half a mile or, you know, something like that.
I think he had
This is
Sacred
nearby.
Heart in the remarks. Pardon me, Jane. Did he have that in there, Sacred Heart in the remarks?
You better not.
Why are you
There was
listing
a
that?
Sacred Heart in there.
Go back. Can you go back?
Mm,
Yeah, I don't think he did. I hope
Yeah,
not.
right in the remarks section. I thought I saw it.
better not. We'll have to call.
Let's see. See right there. in
Sacred
the-
Heart. Yeah.
Oh,
Wow.
good
Whoops.
catch.
Good catch.
See, Allison, I listen to you. I hang on your every word.
Yeah, that was a bad deal. Good catch.
Mm-hmm.
You can't go to public school either. All right, Crescent Hill location at a great price. Bad start.
They can't
Perfect
sell
home.
it.
Perfect home for starter families, couples or singles.
Mm.
Wow. In the heart of St. Matthews, short distance from Seneca Park,
No.
Crescent Hill Reservoir, walking distance to Field Elementary and Sacred Heart,
Sorry.
just minutes from downtown or the East End, plenty of shopping and restaurants nearby. So we haven't talked about the house yet. Fully
Uh-uh.
updated, 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath. Fully updated, but we haven't mentioned any of that yet.
Mhm.
I thought we decided it was okay to say walking distance, just not walk.
You can.
Okay.
You can say walking distance.
Okay.
I would prefer near, but you can say it.
Yeah.
$80,000 worth of updates, and we haven't mentioned any of them yet.
Wow.
New kitchen and appliances, but we're not going to tell you what kind of a new kitchen. An updated full bath, an added half bath, but we're not going to tell you anything about either of those. But they spent 80 grand on them. New paint, new electric, new roof, HVAC is just 2 years old, beautiful hardwood, maintenance-free, brick exterior, stack washer dryer on second floor, full washer in basement, 1-car garage, can accommodate a minivan-sized vehicle.
I have a question.
Yep.
On that foundation, you see it looks painted. When foundations are painted like that, is that a reversible thing, or are you just stuck for life with that?
You're stuck with life for that.
Well, the problem with this house right here is you see that right there to the right-hand side, the driveway right there? There's your problem with that house right there. We can't really, there's no real parking except in the front or that shared driveway story that goes on out to Lexington Road. So that's a whole lot of the reason why that property is not selling too, I would imagine. See it right there? See how, and that would have been a lower level, that would have been probably a lower level garage at one
It
time.
is.
See right there? Yeah.
It is a lower level garage.
Uh-huh.
So we're
Mhm.
still outside. So we're on
There we
photo
are.
6, 7, 8, 9.
Is that a man? Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it is.
So we
It
have really
is.
nice hardwood floors, all new paint,
Mm-hmm. They should have painted that fireplace.
great light.
Wow. Looks good. It's been on
So
the
we're on
market a
photo
long time.
15 and we're still in the same room.
And the fireplace. Yeah.
There we go. We
Oh
got a
my
bath.
God. Oh
What is
no.
happening?
What is that? A barrel bath. Good
There's the
Lord.
kitchen, photo 19. We're getting to it. We're getting to it. Almost. Oh, nope.
Oh, the people that moved on.
There we go. Photo
Oh,
24. We
look
can
how
see
nice
close
the
up of
vent
stove.
is.
So you got a really nice granite counter,
Oh.
tile backsplash. It's open to the dining room.
Cabinetry. Wow. Look
So
at
there we
that.
go. Now we can see the kitchen.
Wow.
Look, it's got tile flooring in there.
Wow, it's
A
beautiful.
pantry. But none of that's mentioned in any of the remarks.
Well, poor Phil.
Let's see a bathroom. We're on 44 photos. There's a bathroom on 47. $80,000 worth of upgrades, and the bath's on photo 47.
Mm.
Those photos are so weird.
Oh, look at that laundry. I've been saying something about that laundry right up there because generally you're looking in the basement. And
He mentioned that.
That's
He
cool.
mentioned the stack laundry. That
there's
was
two
good.
laundries.
Yep.
There's
Oh,
two
that-
laundries.
He
Did they
mentioned
mention?
that.
Did they mention that in the remarks?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Because that's huge for me. That's a big deal.
So they added that half bath with the barrel sink, and the updated full bath had all new tile in it. None of that was mentioned. He didn't mention the granite in the kitchen or the tile backsplash or the fact it was open to the dining room. Didn't mention that it had a pantry.
Well,
All of
it's like James said, it's rushed. All that is they rushed in getting it listed without taking the time to, he probably doesn't even know how to quantify what all they've updated.
That's surprising. And that's Edlin. And Edlin does a pretty good job overall. Look how long it's been on the market. I told you, it's been on the market a long time. I think it was may have originally been a duplex.
kind of sad. I think that I would shuffle the photos for sure. Get rid of
commission is
about 30 of them.
Uh-huh.
Did you see
Mhm.
that?
See what?
The commission is 2.5%.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And I'll tell you, Steve Canfield, every listing he has is 2.5%, and I'm seeing more and more of that. And for me personally, the deal killer is the painted foundation. I think that is for a lot of people. If it's not, I didn't think it was reversible. It just stands out
It's
like,
painted. It's not a hill to die on.
yeah, it needs to be a quieter color.
That's true. That's true.
Do you?
I mean,
think
it's just
that,
the first
like-
thing you see on that house, and it's kind of neat. It's kind of one of those chunky brick styles with that pattern in the top. I mean, for me personally, I just think it looks fun.
Mm-hmm.
So this house is almost $300 a square foot. It's been on the market 121 days on Pennsylvania Avenue.
Oh, wow.
New look. We've been off market making this already beautiful home even more beautiful. You must come and see this extreme kitchen makeover.
This smells like desperation. What they're yelling at us with all those capital letters.
It completes this
Another
totally
shared driveway?
renovated yet beautifully preserved Crescent Hill treasure, a rare opportunity to own one of the finest homes on Pennsylvania Avenue. Quintessential, which is a highly used word in the MLS now. I see it all the time. Bungalow style, Crescent Hill, we said it again, home. Boasts all the
Love it.
charm of the area, yet has been professionally renovated inside and out to offer all the modern day amenities and maintenance-free living. But we haven't talked about anything they've done.
Not yet.
It's
They
got
want
on
you-
construction other. What is that, stucco?
Probably.
Or painted brick.
What? I mean, it just says other.
It must be stucco, but she doesn't know. But
Huh.
my
I'll
point
I'll
is,
drive by
this-
and look at it.
this is an extensive list of upgrades. Again, they're marketing to a realtor, not a buyer. They didn't
Mhm.
mention anything about the upgrades. You're supposed to go to the list, but the general public can't see it. Oh, it's a sodded house.
Well, they see that it's right. Look at that.
Stucco
Yeah.
and sodding.
Is that a shared driveway too? Thank you. Oh, look how pretty it is. Oh,
They got
No
good
mention of
sky.
the patio.
my God, look at that.
That's a cool patio, and it
Yeah,
backs
That's
up to the tennis court
fabulous.
by the water. Yeah, by the water company.
Wow.
So we're still outside. We haven't gone in yet. Photo 10, 11. There we
Oh.
go.
Oh, hello.
They
But
did
I
all
don't know
this
where we are.
They're
We didn't
still
walk in.
using it's a phone.
We didn't walk in the front door, did we?
No.
I don't remember it.
Is that the front door to the right,
Yeah.
maybe?
Straight ahead. See that door right there, I think. There you go. Oh my Lord.
They're taking pictures of the furniture.
Oh,
And the tulips.
pretty flowers.
Yeah.
The yellow was a nice pop.
But it's got a nice kitchen with tile flooring, tile backsplash, granite counters, white cabinets, which I think would be important to mention.
It's a
Gas
gorgeous
stove,
house,
double
isn't
oven, stainless appliances. None of this is mentioned. Hardwood floors
Gorgeous house.
throughout.
it? Mm-hmm.
Really nice bathroom.
Hmm.
That's unfortunate.
Later on that mirror.
Certainly not worth $300 a foot.
Hell no.
Basement's finished.
Nice. Hard to find in the area.
So no mention of the back patio, which is pretty cool. And plenty of
Mhm.
yard. Big,
Wow.
long, deep yard.
Phew.
Yeah. Unfortunate.
Oh my. When's that expire?
Doing the seller a bit of a disservice there. August 31st.
121 days already been on the market. That property should have already gone, but not at that price. I think that price is a little steep. Oh boy.
Okay, this one's 227 a foot. Spectacular. Located in desirable Wood Hills. Move-in ready. Talk about
course.
that. 1.5 story home with a finished walkout basement, which is interesting because it looks to me like it's a flat yard. Stunning, professional renovation. Open floor plan features gorgeous remodeled eat-in kitchen. Opens to the living room with a gas fireplace. Living room leads to a newly added half bath. That's important. And the master suite with walk-in closet and private bath. Master suite, as we learned before,
Owner.
means you have an attached full bath. So of course it's a private bathroom with a luxury shower, not a luxurious shower, a luxury shower. Second floor features 2 additional bedrooms with hardwood flooring, freshly renovated full bath, new energy efficient windows throughout. Basement, large open area. All right, let's look at the photos and see what you might have added.
Mm.
See, there's going to be 4 outside, which isn't too bad. And at least we get to see the front door.
Oh.
That's a great way to start.
Nice. Oh, that's nice.
Open
So-
as all get out.
Open, yeah. And in St. Matthew, that's a big deal because
Big.
those are usually little choppy
That end
rooms.
table. That table and that end table I like.
Look at that nice
Big picture
window. Look at their
window, look how
replacement
bright.
windows.
Yeah,
Replacement
right?
windows. Oh, they could have moved that middle tree of life.
How about that fancy
Oh,
kitchen?
It looks
Look at
posh.
that.
Big
Oh,
center island.
that's beautiful.
You know, one of the cool things about that center island is they didn't put the stove in it. I've never understood how you could have a stove and then put chairs opposite it and expect to eat there.
Isn't that the truth? I've always thought that.
Hey, Mom.
Yep.
Are you going to show the listing on Indian Hills Road or whatever?
Don't have it. I can, I guess. Yeah, we can do that while we're here. Yeah, I think it's a good idea.
I'd love to get their opinion on that.
Okay, we'll do it. We'll do it next. All right, so look at this fabulous kitchen. You have white
Oh.
cabinetry. It's
Exquisite.
extremely well done. Really nice tile backsplash. You've got the same flooring throughout the house, which I think is neat. You've got recessed lights, that center island. Upgraded
should be sold.
appliances.
Yeah.
Well, but look at that. That's the luxury bath.
Wow.
That's an expensive shower. Yeah. She
That'll
should have
do it
gone
for
into a
ya.
little bit more detail about that shower. I would have put what make that is and that it's a multi-head
Shower
with a
heads.
swing arm.
Yeah.
And it's like a
Mm.
sauna with all those jets in it.
So do you feel like they almost priced themselves out of the neighborhood by making it so nice? I mean, that's a thing, right?
Yeah, I don't necessarily think so
No,
in
it's a
Druid Hills.
230. Well, it's on Chenwood Lane, which doesn't help you.
Yeah.
Here's your problem, right?
Wait, you got a sunroom, which is great, but let me get to the basement.
Oh, where we go? Wow.
Yeah, it's a nice house. Now we're in the basement.
Gee,
So where's the walkout?
where's that door right there? That
That's a
door go
walk
to?
up.
This is a walk up, okay. All
Walk
right.
up.
Doesn't look like that though.
Yeah, we can't really tell from inside.
Oh, I'm telling you, I've driven by it 100 times. It's a walk up basement, not a walk out basement. Those are the only windows. They're up here because
I
it's
got you.
all below grade.
Right?
So basically the point is totally misrepresented this house by calling it a
Mhm.
walkout. So there's the
Mhm.
backyard. See, no walkout.
You're right. Mm-hmm.
One car garage doesn't help. There you go. Where's the walkout?
Oh yeah. Isn't that
Oh,
pretty?
they lied big time, didn't they?
Yeah.
You should write them a nice little note.
That's all right. It's just sitting on the market. That's
But
their dough.
it's just so unfortunate that you're misrepresenting this property by calling it a walkout basement.
Especially when they've worked so hard, obviously,
Yes.
to make it look so nice.
Yes. So imagine if you think, oh, cool, I want to live in St. Matthews, and having a walkout basement is huge. It's hard to come by. And then you get over there and it's not a walkout at all. In fact, you don't even have any real windows in it. They're all those typical basement windows. It's just a totally misrepresentation. So
Do
go
you
back
see
to-
how many days? 247 days on the market.
I'm surprised they haven't had to change that.
Well, somebody needs to call Linda.
She's working out of her house.
That's funny.
They are all working out of their house.
Well, they could sure charge me, and I still don't have any product for my charge, but I hear them.
All right, here we go. Perched on nearly 1 acre in Indian Hills, on Indian Hills Trail, sits the stately traditional brick ranch. All right, important. Keep that in mind. Traditional brick ranch. Its location is superb. Okay. While you are near restaurants, shopping, and interstate, you are nestled in a park-like setting. This home features over 3,000 square feet on the first floor, 4 bedrooms, 2 full and 1 half bath, 3-car garage, and nearly 800 finished square feet in the lower level. Schedule you're showing today. $700,000 house. And that's what they
Didn't
said.
tell me anything.
Didn't tell you a damn thing. But look what they've done.
Another picture.
Oh,
Oh, they painted it, or they just act like they painted it?
It's virtual. It's like staging.
Oh, dear God. Mm, mm, mm.
wait. Aren't edited photos illegal?
Look at the upper left-hand corner. Please note this image has been virtually staged. What was fascinating to me is I was flipping through it and I was confused because I didn't see that up there at first. So I'm flipping through these photos and I can't figure out if it's traditional or contemporary. He says it's traditional in the remarks, but then the photos, he's changed it to more contemporary. I mean, he's even taken the wainscoting off the wall here.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
You
This
don't
is
need
like
this kind of
basic
confusion.
sales. Know
But you-
know your product and know your audience. And
Yeah.
this guy's just all over the place.
Yeah, but this has beautiful hardwood floors. That's a huge living room. Look at all the furniture in it. Really nice crown molding.
But why would you change that up? It's fabulous. I mean,
Watch
that's
this.
fabulous.
Watch this. It's a beautiful dining room. Lots of wall space for big furniture, and then he does that.
Oh, Lord. Goodbye.
That's not a job for him. That's a job for an interior designer to come up with that.
Look at this. You think he's really selling this house? These poor people.
Well, he probably didn't do this himself. He paid for someone to do the virtual.
Whatever.
staging,
You're still
right?
responsible for it. It doesn't matter who you pay for.
No, I know. I'm just saying. I think it's really interesting that a third party did it. And
Good job on the kitchen, though. The kitchen was a nice update. I kind of, that's kind of nice just to have an updated kitchen. Look. It's not really updated.
But I mean, this is a really nice house. Crown molding throughout the hallway, chair rail, hardwood floors in the master bedroom.
Oh.
I mean, that's like you went to IKEA. Not that there's anything wrong with IKEA. I love IKEA, but in that house,
This is a $700,000 traditional brick ranch in Indian Hills. This is not typical.
Interestingly enough, it started out as a $789,000 house.
And the bed doesn't even fit on the wall. It's encroaching over to the window. It makes it look like you can't furnish the house.
Well, feng shui wise, you're going to have some safety issues. Just saying.
But I mean, it's a beautiful house. Hardwood floors throughout.
Oh, look at that view.
No mention of the yard. I mean, and why are these photos not updated?
Hmm.
You know, you got leaves on the trees. All of this is garden area, and it's probably beautiful
Mm.
right now, but it's not in any of the photos.
Mm, mm. Watershed's there.
Sad.
Mm. Who
We could
is
do this
that?
for days. I don't know if you all want to continue to go on or not, but I mean, there's all kinds of just poorly represented properties. I see them every day. But I
Yeah.
think that people tend to forget that we are marketing to a buyer, not to realtors.
That's a crappy picture.
Yeah, horrible picture. $350,000 house, 2,800 feet above grade, traditional 1926 home is a rare find. All this stuff is already in the MLS. You don't need to put any of this in the remarks. Expansive first floor master ensuite with laundry, separate sitting room and entrance. Now that's nice. You can utilize this space however you need. Gleaming original solid 1-inch hardwood floors were sanded and restained in 2016. Enjoy your formal dining room complete with ornate built-in corner buffet cabinet. Hold that thought. Corner buffet
Hey,
cabinet.
cabinets. What is that?
Exactly. That is a feature custom to this period of homes.
Hmm?
Okay, thanks for educating me. The stone surrounding gas fireplace are the focal point of the oversized living room. It flows into the hallway off the front entrance. You will find an additional spacious bedroom as well as another full bathroom on the first floor. Upstairs,
Wow.
has another half bath, partially finished walkout basement, multiple areas for additional storage, second washer dryer, new built deck with a capital, and landscaping as well as multiple parking driveway, whatever that means, are just a few of the many updates this home features. With the close proximity to everything St. Matthews has to offer, this home's a real gem and awaiting for its new owners to love. And the W isn't capitalized.
Is that really a walkout?
Doesn't look like it to me.
Just saying. Ooh, it's an oddity, isn't it? Ooh, ooh. Huh.
There's your corner buffet. A buffet
There
means you
it
use it to
is.
put your stuff on. To do a buffet, you have to have a counter space. That's what a buffet is.
That's a
So
corner cabinet,
it's
people.
just a corner cabinet, not a buffet.
Look at that light. It's
But it
weird.
has beautiful hardwood floors in this house.
Oh, yeah.
A really nice corner cabinet. Updated kitchen. Appliances don't match, but you don't have to mention that.
We can see it. Get rid of them curtains.
But surely he could have come up with something else to write about this house. Nice sized rooms,
That's Becca.
windows. That's unfortunate.
Ugh. All right, walking out. There you
But
go.
it's not a walkout.
Nope. We're upstairs. That's horrible. Oh.
It's not a walkout. There you go.
Mm-mm.
Sad.
Well, it's an ugly house anyway. Let's move on.
But I think that he obviously had a really hard time coming up with something to help sell this house. All he did was talk about facts. It was built in 1926, how much square footage it has, and then he talks about the rooms where they're located, which I don't think is going to help sell it. You know,
Mm-mm.
if anything, this house should have been the proximity to, because you're in St. Matthews. This is the
there.
one where you could save minutes to all kinds of shopping, dining, etc. But it has a nice yard and plenty of bedrooms. There's got to be something else you can talk about here. It's a very clean and tidy house. It just doesn't have a whole lot of the updates that you would expect for $340,000. But it's only listed at $123 a foot.
Right, and when you start going below ground, being 800 square feet, that doesn't look too professional to me down there. I'd start thinking a little bit more about that. Non-conforming.
Right.
They don't have anything under non-conforming, and when you show
Exactly.
that upstairs,
Yeah,
there's some non-conforming space up there. I got news for them.
yeah.
And look at that. You got the walk. Oh, look at that. Goodness almighty. What's that? A dresser? Is that a dollhouse dresser or something?
I don't know. All right, so I guess I've made my point that we really need to be marketing toward the buyer, not to realtors.
Yeah.
And you've got to pick out a feature that's going to intrigue someone to want to come and look at that house. In this particular case, buying a house in St. Matthews at $128 a foot, that's a very reasonable price in St. Matthews.
Mm-hmm.
And I think maybe you could take a spin on that without saying it's priced at $128 a foot. You could talk about the fact that there's room for improvements here. It's a
That's
great
a lot of
opportunity.
square footage.
It's a lot of house for the money. You could say that.
Yeah.
Anyway, any other conversations, comments, questions? I mean, I don't want to belabor the point too much.
No, I think it's great insight. I think it really shows you the importance of the comments and getting to the point and not repeating yourself
And
and
don't
being
take
truthful.
being truthful, and don't reiterate what's already in there. I already know that it's a 4-bedroom house. I don't need to be told in the remarks that it's a 4-bedroom house.
And it's
Yeah,
built
because-
in 1926.
Right.
And it's
It's
not a
square
rare
footage.
find. I got news for you. It's not a rare find.
No. But it
St.
does have a
Matthews.
first floor master bedroom, and I think that's really important.
Not a rare find.
Right. But you really need to sit back and think about it. And I typically, when I'm talking to my sellers, I don't write the remarks, and I'll tell them that when I'm sitting there filling out the listing agreement. I want to look at all the photos,
Mhm.
because once I have looked at the photos, then I can pull out the triggers that I think are going to make a buyer want to come and look at this house over the competition. What's going to make my house more intriguing to a buyer than the house next door? And that's what we need to think about. And remember, you only have 800 characters before you hit the more button. So all the important stuff needs to be up front. Updates, new HVAC, a new driveway, all of that stuff needs to be up front. And then you can talk about the, being near, well, I don't know, if it's near a park, you might want to put that up front too. But the more, what's the word I'm looking for? Descriptive part about, the versatility of it, et cetera, maybe that goes in the more button. But I really think that you need to be concise and put everything you need to say in the 800 characters, because Zillow and Trulia aren't going to pick up the more often than not. So make everything that's important in the first 800 characters. All right, with that being said, if nobody else has a comment or a question, I'm going to end this meeting. We good?
Good job.
Thank you very much.
enlightening.
Y'all have a great weekend. Call me if you need me.
All right. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.